Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the beginning of everything, i.e. Genesis. So once upon a time there was nothing, just God. God was Jay chilling in the void. But if there was nothing, how was there God? Don't think about it too hard. And one day God was like, boys, it's pretty dark out here. My ojos do be suffering. And there was light. This is the first recorded use of clap on, clap off technology. Whoa, this is sick. But he was absolutely wiped from clapping that light into existence. So he takes a nap. Even God took naps. Let yourself take a nap, girl boss. You deserve it. Then he wakes up and is like, you know what this light could really use? Some good sky, and land being separate. The land has good sky. Pew, 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 pew. Whoa, this is sick. Nap time. Man, I hope that sound doesn't stick around. So we've got sky and earth and light on the board. Let's see what's next. Survey says... water. Land. So he makes water and land and he's like, whoa, this is sick. You know what time it is. And he takes another nap. He repeats this process for 3 more days. He makes plants and the sun and the moon and stars and animals like birds and fish and animals that are not birds or fish while throwing in a healthy dosage of intermittent naps in between. And every time he finishes making something, he goes, whoa, this is sick. Finally, on the 7th day of him making everything, he's like, I need a little R&R. I'm gonna take a day off, kick back, take a chill pill, and he does. He watches every episode of Riverdale, even though he doesn't like it. That's how chill he is. Man, it sure would be nice to get some representation around here. How come nobody looks like me? Part 2. Bible stories with Liv. So God is like, bro, this gorgeous, gorgeous land you see here, it's gonna be all yours. Everything the light touches. You for real? I'm God. I'm always for real. Well, G-Man, I don't know if you're seeing this, but there are most definitely people already living there. Oh, no. You're not gonna doubt me. Don't even. So Joshy takes 2 of his spies and is like, yo, spies, I'm a Nando and I'm scared of nothing. Yes. Anyway, go into that land that God promised us and make sure it's giving. Giving what? Just like, giving, on it. So they sneak into the city and they climb up the wall into someone's literal apartment. Alone at last. Oh my God. Hey, no. Don't worry. God sent us. Oh, period. I'm a prostitute. Thank you for sharing. Open this door. It's me, the king. Michael Jackson? No, not. Why was that your first assumption? Quick, hide. Oh, Raya. Here's some spies have come. Where are they? They went that way. That way. Okay. Just plug that into my GPS. We're driving the 2022 Toyota Corolla with up to 169 horsepower. Go. Oh my goodness. Yes. Onward. And they ran off. Clear. Wow. You are the definition of clutch. Hey, do you guys want putting in a good word for me with the big man? We got you. This has been lovely. You have a lovely home. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. So Jesus is low-key famous at this point for healing people and miracles and crap. And he enters the city and he needs a place to stay. And this chica named Martha is like, my good dude, my J-Dog, you can stay at my place. Pull up. And J-Dog's like, say less. Now Martha had a younger sister named Mary. Where are my youngest siblings at? And when Jesus comes in to stay with them, Mary hangs on his every move. He sits, she sits. He does the renegade, she does the renegade. He teaches, she sits and listens. Great success. Meanwhile, Martha's like cooking up a storm in the kitchen. Like, yes, I do the cooking. Yes, I do the cleaning. She wants everything to be perfect for the J-Man. And she looks over and sees Mary just chilling, listening to Jesus. And she's like, are you serious? Yo, Mary. Oh, yeah, what's up? I could use a little help over here. Yeah, you probably could. And she tattles. She's like, Jesus, can you tell my little sis to stop being a little douchebag and help me? And she's like, whoa, my good homies. You got it all turvy topside down. Martha, while you're all pressed and stressed about everything being perfect, Mary's just listening to me. She killing the game. You're missing out on time with me because you're trying too hard. Sometimes you just gotta chillax and let me love you. If that ain't the Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Genesis. So we got 2 brothers, right? Cain and Abel. And they both prepared offerings for the Lord. And Cain is like, here you go, Lord. I offer you this unused tampon. And God's like, okay, thank you. And then Abel brings his offering and he's like, here you go, Lord. A fine crafted Fender acoustic guitar with a capo. And God is like, oh, with a capo? This is sick. Thanks, Abel. And Cain is like, oh, with a capo. And God is like, what's wrong? You gave me a crappy offering. Like a tampon? Unused. Go, girl, give us nothing. And Cain was hecka frustrated. So he goes over to Abel and he's like, hey, bro. Hey, man, what's up? Ow, man, what the hell? And he killed Abel. And the Lord is like, yo, Cain, what's poppin'? Hey, well, hi. Where's your brother, Abel? What is that, my job now, huh? Am I my brother's knower of where he is all the time person? Huh? Is that my job? Gosh, shut up. You know I have to punish you for this, right? Yeah, sounds about right. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Judges. So this is God, this is Baal, and this is a homie named Gideon. What up, council? And one day God's like, yo, Gideon, what's good? You see that altar to Baal that the people built? Saw, dude. I want you to knock it down and build one for me. Dude. That's hella tight. Okay. But I'm gonna do it at night because people be pissed, I mean, fair. So he goes at night and he knocks over the altar and builds one to God. And the next morning the people are like, whoa, so not cool. Who in the heck did this? It was Gideon. No, it was Gideon! Ah! But Gideon's dad comes out of nowhere and is like, gentlemen, what seems to be the issue? Dude, like, your son knocked over Baal's altar, and, like, we think a fitting punishment would be, like, to, like, kill him. Like, right now. Okay, this is Baal's altar. If Baal is pissed about it, shouldn't Baal deal with it? Yeah, shouldn't Baal deal with it? Quiet, son. Okay. You know, he's got a point. Okay, Baal, it's your time. Do your thing. Yeah, I'm good.
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Genesis. So there's a super old blind dude named Isaac, and he and his wife Becky have two twins named Jacob and Esau. So one day Isaac is like, Esau, since you're the oldest and I'm gonna die soon, I need to give you an important blessing. But first, go make me an absolutely delish meal. And Esau's like, bet. But mom Becky was eavesdropping, and she goes into Jacob and she's like, Jacob, you deserve the blessing, son. Let's trick your dad into giving it to you. And Jacob's like, silly mom, tricks are for kids. Yeah, sorry, okay, yeah, I'll do it. But mom, Esau is so hairy and I'm baby smooth. Won't dad feel me and know that I'm not Esau? And Becky's like, let's put some goat skin on you. And Jacob's like, hell yeah, mom. So Becky preps the delish meal, and Jacob puts on some goat skins, and he goes into Isaac and he's like, hey dad, it's your son Esau. Ready for the blessing? And Isaac's like, okay, thank you, son, but let me touch you. And Jacob's like, that's weird, but okay. And Isaac feels the goat skin and he's like, who are you really? And Jacob's like, Dad, I am Esau. And Isaac's like, wonderful. And then he blesses him. And then Esau comes in, ready for the
Bible stories with Liv. I'm back. Today's story comes from the book of Exodus. So God is like, yo, Moses, yeah, what's up? You know how my peeps, the Israelites, are currently, like, enslaved? Ah, yeah. By Pharaoh? Ah, yeah. In Egypt? Ah, yeah. Well, we gonna fix that. That's on period. So Moses goes to Pharaoh at God's instructions, like, yo, Pharaoh, what's poppin'? Let my homies go.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
Wait, are you being dead ass right now? I'm being the deadest of ass. Okay, but have you considered this? Bet you won't.
And Pharaoh's like, you know what? You're right. I won't.
Ow.
And God's like, showtime. So God starts doing all these crazy signs, 10 to be exact. Like, he changes the entire river to blood. And there were frogs and bugs and boils and hail and darkness and crap. It's like the dang apocalypse of 2020. And finally Pharaoh's like, oh my gods, just take him. It's not worth it. And the Israelites are like, thank you so much, God. We promise we'll never ever forget all those awesome signs you did for us.
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Job. So there was a dude named Job, not Job, Job. And he was super blessed. Like, he had a ton of kids and crops and cattle and crap. And he was just living like Larry. And God was all like, hey, yo, Satan, come look at this. See my boy Job over here? He killing the game. He worships me all the time. And Satan was like, well, yeah, of course he worships you all the time. You literally gave him everything. And God's like, okay, bet. You can take whatever you want away from him, but, like, don't hurt him. And Satan's like, big facts. And so Satan kills, like, his entire family, and he demolishes, like, all of his crops and cattle and crap. So Job literally has nothing. But Job still worships God. Told you. Ugh. And Satan's like, okay, but if you let me hurt him, he won't worship you. And God's like, okay, bet, but don't kill him. And Satan's like, facts. So Satan's like, "Ra-ta-ta-ta." And Job gets all these, like, sores and boils all over. Ugh, it's so gross. And even Job's wife is like, bro, just curse God. And Job's like, no, you hoe. And then Job's 3 friends show up and they start giving him some really bad advice. And eventually Job is like, no, are you kidding me? God is good and I'm trash. And God is like, yup, called.
Bible stories with Liv. The story of Moses, part 2. I did part 1 on like August 25th. I even had the audacity to say part 2 coming soon. You know, like a liar. My bad, sorry guys. Anywho, Moses was a Hebrew dude growing up in the Egyptian palace under Pharaoh himself. And by the way, the Hebrews were like their literal slaves. Low-key whack, I know. So one day Moses was taking a stroll and he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew. And he looked left and he looked right and he didn't see anyone. So he jumped the Egyptian and he killed him and he hid his body in the sand and then he fled the crime scene. The next day he saw 2 Hebrew dudes fighting and he comes up to them and Moses is like, yo, why you guys fighting though? You should be friends. And one Hebrew dude goes, oh, what, are you gonna kill me just like you killed that Egyptian? And Moses is like, oh, sugar honey iced tea. They know I iced this homie. And Pharaoh even heard that Moses straight up reefed the Egyptian dude. And Pharaoh was like, alrighty, let's kill him. So Moses runs away and he runs and he runs and he runs and he runs until he gets to the land of Midian, Hakuna Matata, am I right? And he pops a squat at a well. Part 3 coming at some point.
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of 1 Kings. So there's a prophet named Elijah, right? And he was chilling in a town where everybody was worshiping both God and also a spirit named Baal. And Elijah's all like, my dudes, you can't do that. You gotta pick. And they were like, you cereal? And he was like, dead ass. And they were like, okay, but then how are we gonna pick who to worship? And Elijah's like, ding, I've got an idea. What if we set up like a little competition of sorts? So, all right, hear me out. Like, you guys build an altar to Baal, okay? And I'll build one to God. And whichever one catches fire, that one's,
God. And they're like, yeah, okay, we can get behind that, bet. So they set up their altars, and it's Baal's turn first. And they're all like, oh, great Baals, come down and set fire. And personally, I like to imagine that Baal was somewhere like, y'all hear something? No, okay. And they're doing their thing, and Elijah, like an absolute savage, is like, you know what? I bet Baal's in the bathroom, guys. I bet he's just taking a nap. For real. He said that, verse 27. So no fire comes from Baal, and then Elijah's all like, okay, my turn. He even douses the thing in water just to prove his point. And he's like, all right, God, do your thing. And God's like, skadoosh. Pew. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Genesis. So there's a dude named Abraham, right? And one day God's all like, psst, yo, Abraham, yo, what's up? You see your son Isaac over there? Well, yeah. Look, I need you to sacrifice him to me. What? Kill my own? Are you kidding me, God? I'm God. I don't kid. Fair point. So Abraham's like, yo, Isaac, let's go build an altar to God, okay? He's like, bet. Tight. All right, you grab the firewood and I'll get the sacrifice. So Isaac grabs the firewood and the two of them start climbing up a hill to build an altar. Oh, Dad, you forgot the sacrifice. We're almost there, son. But where's the sacrifice, Dad? Dad, where's the sacrifice? Just a little further now, son. So they get to the top and they build the altar. Dad, why are you tying me up? Why are you tying me up, Dad? Alrighty, now just pop a squat on the altar. Dad. And Abraham pulls out a knife and, hey, God, this is your turn. Oh, right. Abraham, don't do it, okay? I was testing you. You passed. Oh, facts. Oh, thank God. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Numbers. So we got a homie named Balaam, right? What up? And his buddy Balak was like,
yo, my dog, come curse my enemies, roast my boys.
And God was all like,
no.
But Balaam was like, I don't care what you say, I'm going anyway. So he mounts his donkey. But God was like,
ugh, are you serious? It was like the only thing on the syllabus.
So God sends an angel to go stop him. Stop. But only the donkey sees it, and the donkey's all like,
nay.
And Balaam's like, broski, you've literally one job. There's nothing there. Keep chugging along. The angel's like, I said stop. And the donkey's all like,
nay.
And Balaam's like, stop acting like an ass.
Yeah.
Whack! Strike two. So they keep going, and again the angel's like, read my lips. Stop. And the donkey lies down, and Balaam's like, bro, there's nothing there. And God is like,
okay, donkey, you can talk now. I can?
You what?
Bro, why do you keep hitting me? That's animal abuse. Peter's right around the corner.
Bro, because you keep stopping for nothing like an idiot.
Bro.
And God opens Balaam's eyes, like, and he sees the angel like, what? Stop. Oh my God.
Did you say something to me?
Bible stories with Liv. The story of Joseph, part 9. So because Joseph correctly interpreted Pharaoh's dream, they knew that the famine was coming, and Egypt stored up a butt ton of grain. Now, the other countries around them didn't store up any grain, and them's was all starving. So Egypt put their grain up for sale, and Joseph was in charge of selling it all. And who needed to buy grain from Joseph? But Joseph's brothers. The ones that betrayed him all those years ago. So Jacob, their dad, is like, go to Egypt and buy grain, but I'm gonna keep my youngest son, Ben, here with me, because I don't want him to get hurt. Okay, favorite much? But they're all like, okay, that's chill, and they travel all the way to Egypt. And they go to Joseph to buy grain, but they don't recognize Joseph at all. Joseph recognizes them. And they're all like, hey, we're here to buy some tasty grain. And he's like, I smell cap. You guys are spies. No, we're not. Yes, you are. And they're all like, no, we're just a bunch of brothers who need grain. But one, our youngest, is back home with dad, and one is no more. Ah, the irony. And Joseph is like, okay, but you guys gotta prove to me that you guys aren't spies by bringing your youngest brother here. So I'm gonna imprison one of you, and the rest of you have to go get your youngest brother and bring him to me. And so he yeets one of the brothers named Simeon into prison and sends the rest to go. Bible stories with Liv. Today I've got a shorter story for you guys from the book of Matthew. So Jesus is giving a sermon, right, to his friend group, his squad, and to some other dudes. And J-Dog is like, okay, so y'all know that cheating on your significant other is wrong, right? And they're like, yeah, duh, that's wrong. Only a douche would cheat. And he's like, okay, but hear me out, my homies. Catch this drift. If you so much as a look at a woman and you lust after her, and they're like, oh yeah. J-Dog's like, yeah, that's just as bad as cheating. Are you dead cereal? Dead grass. But... okay, but what if she's dressed like super hoey, right? Like then that's her fault for making me like think about that, right? Oh, you got trouble with that? Okay, yeah, I've got a great solution for you. Okay, yeah, what? Yeah, you could just take a spoon like this and, gouge out your eye. Just that sucker out. Are you dead grass? Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, good to know. Let me tell y'all, my Jesus, my J-Dog do not mess. Bible stories with Liv. The story of Joseph, part 11. So they find the cup in Ben's bag, and they're like, mother trucker, dude. And they go back to Joseph, and they bow before him, fulfilling Joseph's prophecy dreams from part 1, might I add. And they're like, I swear, we have no idea how that got in there. And Joseph is like, I'm sorry, but Ben is kind of my servant now for life. And one of the brothers, Judah, is like, Your Excellency, listen, walk with me, talk with me. And he kind of downloads the whole story to Joseph of Joseph being sold away, not knowing it's him, of course, and their dad being so sad, and them feeling so guilty, and all that jazz. And Joseph finally can't take it anymore, and he starts crying. He's just bawling. And he goes to his brothers and he's like, you guys, I'm Joseph. And they're like, no. And he's like, I am. And they're like, wait, are you being dead cereal? Dead grass. And they all start crying and rejoicing, and they bring out their dad Jacob, and they hug, and Joseph takes care of them for the rest of the famine, and everything is Gucci gang. Takeaways. God took evil and the horrible, horrible things that Joseph's brothers did to him and turned it around to save not only their family, but also all of Egypt and the surrounding country. Whew, that's good stuff. Hits different. The end. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. So Jesus was chilling, just booling around when he's met by 10 lepers. Leopards? No, lepers. Lepers are dudes that have leprosy. And leprosy is a disease that's like super bad and basically incurable. Oh no, I know. So these 10 dudes with leprosy come up to Jesus and they're like, Jesus, homie, J-Dog, have mercy on us poor leopards. Lepers. And Jesus is like, alrighty then, go show yourselves to the priest. Oh, okay. And so they go to the priest, and while they're walking there, they are cleansed like no mas leprosy. What? And now one of the lepers went back to Jesus, and he fell on his face in front of him, and he was crying, he was sobbing, he was like, thank you, Jesus, thank you so much. You have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful. And Jesus is like, oh, you, my homie, are welcome. But wait, didn't I heal 10 of you? Where are the other 9 dudes that I totally just healed as well? That's okay. You, homie, are the best because you were thankful. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. So Jesus went into the synagogue, right? Which is like the holy, holy temple. And there was a man there with a withered hand. Ow. This is fine. And there were some Pharisees there. And the Pharisees were like the super religious dudes that made a big grass deal out of following every single tiny little rule. Ugh, annoying, I know. One of the religious rules was no working on the Sabbath. The Sabbath is like Sunday. It's a holy day. You can't work. And they took it to like the nth degree because you couldn't even like brush your teeth because that would be considered work. Alrighty, get him out of here. So the Pharisees were there with Jesus and the man with the withered hand. And they were waiting for Jesus to heal him so they could go, aha, we caught you working on the Sabbath. No. But Jesus knew what they were thinking. Hey, withered hand man, come here. Now tell me, my Pharisaical friends, is it right to do good on the Sabbath or harm? To save a life or to destroy it? And they're like, give me your hand, homie. Moral of the story, Jesus was saying F you to following the rules since day one. Jesus. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Johnny Boy. Allow me to paint a little picture for you. Nicodemus. Let's call him Nico. This dude is a walking advert for church, okay? He simps for religion the way I simp for Jake from State Farm. He comes to Jesus one night. A little confidential convo moment. He's like, my guy. Yes, that's me. You've been doing hella miracles. I'll give you that. As you should, King. So you're like definitely from God, right? Understatement of the century, but go on. So like, how do I get in good with God? Jesus is like, you gotta be birthed for a second time. I don't know how my mom or her uterus would feel about that. Okay, we're gonna move right past that. So Nico's basically like, what do you mean by that? And she's like, okay, not literal, don't touch your mom's uterus. Oh, thank God. I'm talking about flipping everything you think you know about religion and God upside down on its head. Yes, I'm listening. Like you think just be good enough and God will come. Nice. Talking about God, right? My bad, that's on me. But actually, the point is to realize you're not good enough. I suck. Yes, I agree. Like if you're terminally sick, you don't need a yoga instructor, you need a surgeon.
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Genesis. So y'all remember my guy Abraham, right? So one day God's like, yo, Abraham. He's like, what's up, God? And God's like, okay, listen, the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah are super duper evil. And I have decided that I'm gonna destroy them. And Abraham's like, okay, listen, I'm with you on this, except my nephew Lot actually lives there and he's a good guy. And God's like, yeah, you're right. Well, as it turns out, Lot and his family are actually the only good people in the entire city, so I'll save them because I love you, homie. Aw, stop it. I love you too, G-man. So God sends 2 angels down to Lot, and the angels are like, Lot, so God sent us to tell you to take your kids, take your wife, because God gonna be destroying everybody up in here. And Lot's like, oh shoot, yeah, okay, honey, what? And angels are like, now bro, time is of the essence. Right, okay, here we go. So Lot and his wife and his daughters leave the city, and God starts raining literal fire on Sodom and Gomorrah. And then the angels are like, oh guys, one more thing. God told us to tell you to not look back at the city, like at all. And they're like, yeah, okay, that's cool. And Lot's wife is like, I could take a peek. And so she peeks behind, and she immediately turns into a literal pillar of salt. Lot's like, huh?
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. So there's this homie named Zacchaeus, right? And he was like super short. Like this is how he saw the world.
In the mirror, I'm a really flat guy.
Now Zacchaeus was a tax collector, and tax collectors were the worst. They were hated. Think like Matthew Morrison as the Grinch. So Jesus is passing through one day, and Zacchaeus was just trying to catch a glimpse of him, but Jesus was surrounded by this massive crowd. And like I said, he was hella short. So he spots a sycamore tree and he's like, bet.
It's the cloud.
So he's up in the tree and he sees Jesus. Hey, J-Dog, up here. And Jesus is like, wait, y'all hear something? Oh, Zach. Yeah. Hey. Yo, get down here, bro. I want to stay in your house tonight. You trying to pull up? Say less. Dead grass. Come on, homie. And so he climbs down and all the people there were pressed. They were salty, okay? Like, ugh, it's the being a tax collector for me. Why is he hanging with that hoe? Simp. And I'm sure Zacchaeus in his head was like,
Sorry for dripping, but drip is what
come on, Zach. Oh, right. Thank you for being so nice to me. I'm going to give a butt ton of my money to the poor. Wow. Y'all, Jesus came for the people that knew they wouldn't pass the vibe.
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Matthew. So Jesus and his squad were straight up chilling at the treasury where the people put money in the offering, and some rich dudes come by, and we're talking rich, like Jeff Bezos's wealthy cousin. They don't even know what a Venmo balance is. Anyway, Richie Rich and his rich pals come up to the treasury and they start emptying out their pockets. And Jesus is watching. They're throwing in gold bars, money clips with a $50 bill engraved ? And they even whip out one of those absurdly large checks, like they're dumping money. And Jesus is like, and they leave, and then this poor widow comes up to the offering box and she shakily pulls out 2 copper coins and she puts it into the box. And the rich dudes are watching like, poor people, am I right, on their high horse. And Jesus sees and he's like, hey squad, listen up. What's up? This widow, this poor widow gave more than any of these rich posters. J-Dog, hello? Did you see the giant check? No, y'all don't get it. These rich homies gave out of their abundance. Can you say disposable income? But this woman, she gave everything that she has. Oh, period, queen, you tell him. Bible stories with Liv. Today I've got a shorter story for you guys from the book of Matthew. So Jesus is giving a sermon, right, to his friend group, his squad, and to some other dudes. And J-Dog is like, okay, so y'all know that cheating on your significant other is wrong, right? And they're like, yeah, duh, that's wrong. Only a douche would cheat. And he's like, okay, but hear me out, my homies. Catch this drift. If you so much as a look at a woman and you lust after her, and they're like, oh yeah. J-Dog's like, yeah, that's just as bad as cheating. Are you dead cereal? Dead grass. But... okay, but what if she's dressed like super hoey, right? Like that's her fault for making me like think about that, right? Oh, you got trouble with that? Okay, yeah, I've got a great solution for you. Okay, yeah, what? Yeah, you could just take a spoon like this and, gouge out your eye. Just that sucker out. Are you dead grass? Okay, yeah, cool. Okay, good to know. Let me tell y'all, my Jesus, my J-Dog do not mess.
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. So Jesus is telling his disciples that they should love their neighbor. And one of them's like, okay, dumb question, Jesus. Who's my neighbor? Because I live in a condo upstate. And Jesus is like, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all a story, okay? It's a metaphor. They're like, metaphor, facts. Jesus is like, okay, once upon a time, there's a dude traveling through a really sketchy part of town with a little rat-ta-ta-ta action, you know what I'm saying? He actually got mugged and he's just left there to die. I've been left here to die. Oh, no. Oh, yes. But then a priest walks by. Oh, phew. But the priest actually just goes around him. Aw. But then a Levite walks by. Oh, Levites are homies. Yes. But the Levite just goes around him. Oh, rats. But then a Samaritan walks by. Ugh, Samaritans. Important side note. Everybody hated Samaritans. Absolutely despised them. So let's call him, I don't want to name any real people, so let's call him Donald. So the Samaritan Donald walks by and he sees him and he rushes over and he binds up all his wounds and he gives him water. He even puts him up in a really nice hotel. Like no Motel 6 type ish, like a Hampton resort with a continental breakfast. And then he says to the hotel manager, take care of my guy. Whatever you need, just do it and I'll pay for it. And the manager's like, bet.
Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of 1 Samuel. So there's a kid named Samuel, right? And he was living with a dude named Eli, kind of like a Tony Stark, Peter Parker father figure type of vibe. So Samuel goes to bed one night, and while Samuel's sleeping, God is like, psst, Samuel. And Samuel gets up and he goes to Eli and he's like, yeah, Eli, what's up? What do you need? And Eli's like, sorry, what? You called for me. No, I didn't. You didn't? No. Oh, okay, sorry, never mind. So he goes back to bed, and then a second time, God is like, psst, Samuel. Samuel's like, whoa, and he gets up, and he's like, yeah, Eli, what? And Eli's like, what? And Samuel's like, bro, you called for me. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. No, I didn't. Ugh, okay, my bad. Okay, good night. And he goes back to bed, and then a third time, God is like, psst, Samuel. And Samuel's like, that's it. And he storms into Eli, and he's like, quit playing, my guy. What do you freaking want? And then Eli actually realized that it was God, and he was like, oh, Samuel, you idiot. I'm not calling you. God is calling you. And he's like, oh, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, so next time God calls you, be like, what's up, Lord? And then listen. And Samuel's like, what's up, Lord? And then listen. Got it. Thanks. So he goes back to bed, and God's like, psst, Samuel. And Samuel's like, yeah, Lord, what's up? I hear you. And God's like, okay, awesome. Sammy, I need you to tell Eli that I'm going to punish his family.
Oh, shoot.
Bible something with Liv. Actually, I don't know how to categorize this one. Things in the Bible that make me go, what the 1 Samuel? Turn there. So David wants to marry Saul's daughter, Michal, or Michal, or Michelle, or I don't know how to say it. And there's a bride price. Do you remember learning about that in school? It's where a dude would pay the dad to marry his daughter as if he owns her. It's super sexist, and I don't jive with it. But it was a thing nonetheless. Now, Papa Saul did not like David. He actually wanted him dead, so this is how it goes. I would like to marry your daughter, Michal. Bet. Okay, bet. What's the bride price? 100 foreskins of the Philistines. By the way, the Philistines were their enemies. You probably figured that out. 100 foreskins, yes. Okay, bet. Now, Daddy Saul was banking on the fact that David was going to get killed by the Philistines whilst trying to harvest the foreskins. But he didn't. He succeeds. I have literally 1,000 questions. But at the top of that list is, how did he carry them? Was it like a big bowl or something? Like...
Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Daniel, part 2. So the officials that caught Daniel praying race over to King Darius and they're like, Mr. the King, Daniel broke the law, no cap. Talk about sus. What? Yeah, we just saw him praying to God and everyone knows that you can't undo a law. Everyone knows that. Yeah, everyone does know that. Well, shoot, man, that's a major bummer sesh. Okay, well, I guess throw him into the pit of lions. I'll find another number 2. They're like, oh, hells yeah. And they grab him and they chuck him into a pit full of hungry lions. But God's like, alrighty, boys, let's do this. And he sends an angel down to the lion's den with Daniel, and the angel goes skadoosh to the lions so they can't do anything to Daniel. And Daniel's like, this is freaking sick. And he just chills down there with the lions and the angel. The next morning, King Darius comes back and he sees Daniel still alive and high-key vibing. And he's like, whoa, what? And he makes a decree that my kingdom from now on will worship the God of Daniel. Hell yeah. Heaven yeah. My bad. Moral of the story, don't worry about passing the world's vibe check. Pass God's vibe check. Bible Stories with Liv, the Christmas story part 2. So God sends the angel Gabriel to go talk to Mary. Hey. Oh no, it's okay. I'm from God. Don't be scared. Okay. Listen, God sent me here to tell you that he's so freaking jazzed about you. Okay. Listen, you're gonna get pregnant with the Son of God. What did he say? But Gabe, can I call you Gabe? Sure. I'm a virgin. How am I gonna get pregnant? Listen, nothing is impossible with God. Oh, period, queen. I'm God's servant. Let it be done. For real. Period. So then Mary sings a little song of praise to God. So she gets pregnant, and then Joseph sees this. And Joseph and Mary had, never slept together. So he's like, holy Torah, she cheated on me. But Joseph was a nice dude. And he knew that if everyone knew that she cheated, they'd all be like,
So there you go. Oh, can't make a wife out of.
hold on, I guess I'll just break up with her quietly. But then Gabriel comes to Joseph in a dream that night, and he's like, yo, that's God's child. She didn't cheat. And Joseph wakes up, and he's like, yes, so they don't break up. Part 3 soon. Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of 1 Kings. So there's a super wise king named Solomon, right? And one day 2 prostitutes come up to him with a question. Let's call them Sandra and Debbie. So Debbie's like, Solomon, listen, okay? Sandra and I both have a baby. And Sandra over here accidentally killed her baby and then swapped it out with mine. Tell her to give me my baby. And Sandra's like, Solomon, she is lying, okay? The living kid is mine and the dead kid is hers. And Debbie's like, no, the living kid is mine and the dead kid is hers. And Solomon's like, it's a sticky situation we got here. All right, tell you what if we just, catching my drift? No. What if we just, and Debbie's like, are you talking about chopping my baby in half? And Solomon's like, well, yeah. And Sandra's like, well, it sounds logical to me. Well done, king. Well done. Thank you. And Sandra's like, no, okay, I'm sorry. Just give her the baby. I'd rather him not die. And Solomon's like, Deborah, can I call you Deborah? Take your offspring. Stories with Liv, the story of Joseph from Genesis, part 1. So we got a homie named Jacob, right? And Jacob has 12 sons. Not 2, not 69, 12. I don't need you to know any of their names except for Joseph, okay? Joseph was daddy's favorite. Jacob totally favored him over the rest. And one day, Jacob was all like, Joe, I have a gift for you, my son. I'm giving you this dope grass coat. Dope grass coat? Dope grass coat. And Joseph's all like, what? And the 11 other brothers are all like, you gotta be kidding me. And then Joseph goes to bed, and the next morning he goes to his brothers, and he's like, bros, I gotta tell you the craziest dream I had last night. And they're all like, ugh. And Joseph's all like, okay, listen, we were all sheaves of grain, right? And you guys all bowed to me, and I reigned over you guys as king. Oh, piss off, mate. But fine. Joseph goes to sleep again, and the next morning he's like, bros, I had another dream. And they're all like, oh, great. And Joseph's like, mom and dad were the sun and the moon, and you guys were 11 stars. And let me guess, you all bowed before me. Yeah. And I reigned over you all as king. Oh, screw you, Joe. And they went off and they were like, you guys, we should totally kill Joseph. I agree. We should totally commit homicide. Yes. Okay. Part 2 is Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Jonah, part 2. So they're all freaking out on the ship and the lot falls on Jonah. It's Jonah's fault. There's only one thing to do. And they yeet Jonah into the ocean and the storm stops immediately. And Jonah's floundering around in the water when a massive fish comes and literally swallows Jonah whole. And Jonah is chilling in the belly of this big A fish for 3 days. Talk about time to think. While he's in the fish, he's like, hey, God. And God's like, yeah. And he was like, I was so dumb. If I ever get out of this fish, I'm gonna go straight to Nineveh. And God's like, that's my boy. And the fish is like, and he spits Jonah back onto the land. Ew. And Jonah goes to Nineveh and he's like, Nineveh, you evil dudes, repent from your stupid evil ways or else God will destroy you. And Nineveh's like, okay. And they all repent and they turn their ish around. And God's like, yeah, get it to it. I won't destroy you. I'm gonna give you another chance. Another one. And Jonah's pissed. He's like, God, are you dead grass, dead cereal right now? They were so horrible and evil and they deserve to be punished. And God's basically like, listen, Brona, I'm the God of second chances. I give you a second chance. I'm gonna give them one too. And Jonah's like, oh shoot, yeah. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. So Jesus is like, what's up, squad? They're like, what's poppin'? J-Dog's like, I finna tell you guys a metaphor story. And they're like, duh. And Jesus is like, once upon a time, there was a dad with two sons, Kevin and Dave. And Dave is all like, yo, Pops, give us each our share of your property. And Dad's like, okay, sons, here you go. And Dave's like, let's go. And he immediately goes and he sells the share away to gamble and get absolutely plastered and basically squanders the entire thing. Then a famine strikes in the land and no one has any food, including Dave, because he threw away his fortune to literally turn up. And he ends up working for a pig farmer and eating with the pigs. Finally, one day, he's like, gosh, I'm so stupid. I need to go back to my dad. And he goes back home. And as soon as his dad sees him, he leaps up and he runs to him and he hugs him. And he's like, Dave, you're back. I can't believe it. And his dad throws him this huge party. But Kevin, on the other hand, was not so joyous. Kevin went to Dad and he was like, Dad, are you being dead grass right now? I've been here this whole time. And then you throw a party for Dave, the screw up of the family. And Dad's like, Kevin, you don't get it. Dave was lost, but now he's found. That is a reason to celebrate. The end. I don't get it. Ugh. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Daniel. So we got a homie named Daniel, right? And he and God were tight. Like, we're talking a ride or die relation here. And Daniel was also the number 2 dude to the literal king, King Darius. Now, one day, King Darius's other officials were like, man, I wish there was some way we could screw over Daniel since King Darius likes him more than us. Oh, I've got it. And they come up with a plan. So these officials go to King Darius and they're like, hey, Mr. the King, sir, dude, boss man. And he's like, what's poppin'? They're like, your most excellency, we think you should pass a new law. Okay. And what would that new law be? Well, your kingliness, we think that you deserve all praise. And so you should make it illegal to worship anyone or anything or any, I don't know, God that isn't you. And King Darius is like, yeah, okay, I like the sound of that. Make it happen. They're like, yes. And they make it a law. Now, Daniel, who loves God, goes to his room and he starts praying. And he prays literally so much, like so much prayer is happening in this room. And the sneaky officials spy on him and they see him praying and they go to King Darius. Part 2 is coming. Y'all get absolutely hyped. Probably tomorrow, but no guarantees. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Judges. So there's this homie named Gideon, right? And there's some skanky hoes called the Midianites who were hella evil. And God was like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. God sends an angel to Gideon and the angel's like, what's poppin'? What's good? Listen, God's gonna use you to take down the Midianites. Okay. Gideon didn't really trust the angel, so he tests him a couple times and the angel yeets the test into oblivion. And finally he's like, alrighty, let's do this. Yeah. So Gideon's like, alright, step 1, we go build an army. And he gets 22,000 men ready to throw hands with the Midianites. But God's like, yo, Gideon, that's too many. What? Yeah, if you went in with 22,000 dudes, you guys will be all like, we did this, not God. And that's not legit. Dude, yeah, facts. I'm too legit to quit. All right, if anybody's too scared, you can leave now. And 12,000 people leave. And God's like, yeah, that's still too much. What? Yeah, all right. Take them to the river and tell them to take a drink. And they do it. And God's like, all right, whoever laps up the water like a dog will stay. And whoever kneels down, dip out. And they do it. And only 300 men are left. And God's like, I bet. And so one night with 300 men led by Gideon, they sneak into the Midianite camp and blow trumpets. And the Midianites are like, mother trucker, dude. Are killing each other. And Gideon's mere 300 dudes defeated one of the biggest armies ever because God is a straight G. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Genesis. So this was way at the beginning of time, and everyone spoke one language. One language was spoken, only one. Hello, good sir. Do you understand me this day? Why, yes, I do. Well, good day. And everyone just vibed with one language, and God was like, yeah. Then these people on earth were like, hold up, wait a minute, I've got an idea. What if we built a tower that was so freaking tall that it reached heaven, and then everyone will be able to see us, and our names will be on billboards everywhere, and everyone will know us and worship us because we're the freaking best. They were all like, bet, let's do it. And so they start building this tower essentially to be God. And God is like, bitch, are you gotta be kidding me. And he goes skadoosh to the people. Let's see what happened. Floggen snart Deloy pleitoscopen. Gereda. Snart Deloy pleitoscopen. Blaro sevia com kimienta. Fladendaro. Gleigenschnu. Ere plajo to maverit. Fleikenro. Tanto rosca. Jere clavonissimo. And no one knew what anyone else was saying. That's why they call it the Tower of Babel. Because they were all babbling. Do you get it? No? Okay. Well, also, that's why we have a bunch of different languages today. Because forever ago, a bunch of dudes tried to one-up God. Bible stories with Liv. The story of Joseph, part 2. So Joseph's brothers just decided to absolutely ice Joseph. And they were plotting his murder like, you guys, what if we kill him and then we yeet his body into a pit? Genius. God tier. Big facts, bro. But one of the brothers named Reuben secretly cared about Joseph and he didn't want him dead. So Reuben was like, you guys, hear me out. What if we, didn't kill him? And the brothers are like, bro, That's like the whole point, though. And Reuben's like, see, I get that, but what if we chuck him into a pit and we leave him for animals to kill him, so then we don't have to? And they're like, oh, now you're talking. Nice one, Reuben. Yeah, thanks, guys. But secretly, Reuben was planning on going and saving Joseph from the pit after they all left. So the brothers hide out, and they see Joseph coming, and they jump him, and they rip off his coat from Dad, and they beat him up, and then they yeet him into a pit. And then a caravan of Ishmaelites, other random people, it doesn't matter, came by on camels, and the brothers were like, ding, idea, and they sell Joseph to the Ishmaelites so they could get a little dough, a little coin out of their homicide. And isn't that what murder's really all about?
Part 3 is coming.
Bible Stories with Liv. The story of Joseph, part 5. So Joseph is thrown into prison for something that he didn't do. And while he's in there, 2 other dudes get thrown into prison with him by Pharaoh himself. Pharaoh's cupbearer and Pharaoh's baker. What's up, homies? My name's Joseph. Hey, my name's cupbearer. What's up? I'm baker. So one night in prison, they all go to bed, and then the cupbearer and the baker have the most crazy, vivid dreams. And they wake up, and they're like, bro, I had the most insane dream. Bro, me too. And Joseph's like, homies, I'm totally tight with God, so I can interpret them for you. For real? For real? For real? Bet. So the cupbearer is like, okay, so I dreamt that there was this vine, right? And it had 3 branches, okay? Yeah. And then the branches budded these delicioso, delicious little grapes, right? And I took the grapes. You took the grapes. I took the grapes and I pressed them into Pharaoh's cup. And then, I woke up. What does it mean? Just as like, okay, let me think. Okay, so the 3 branches represent 3 days, okay? In 3 days, Pharaoh is actually going to give you your old job back. You know, hence the cup. Oh, that's sick! Thanks, Joseph. Part 6.
Bible Stories with Liv. The story of Joseph, part 3. So the brothers sell Joseph away to the Ishmaelites, and he rides off as their prisoner. And later that night, Reuben goes to save Joseph from the pit, but he's like, what? Where's Joseph? And he rips his clothes and he cries. Meanwhile, the brothers dip Joseph's coat into goat's blood, and they take it to Jacob, and they're like, Dad, Joseph was eaten by wild animals. Isn't that so sad? Dude, shut up. So sad? And Jacob's like, no. And the brothers are like, hell yeah. So the Ishmaelites actually sell him to this Egyptian officer named Potiphar. Hey, Potiphar. Hey. Now, God and Joseph were straight homies, right? And God made it so that everything Joseph did was absolutely bomb. Now, Potiphar saw that God made everything Joseph did absolutely bomb, so he was like, ayo, Joseph, what's crack-a-lackin'? He's like, I'm gonna make you the head of all my household, okay? Now you're in charge of everything. Everything. Sick. So Joseph was in charge of the whole place, and sure enough, everything was absolutely fire, because when the praises go up, the blessings come down. Now, Joseph was a good-looking dude. It was a whole 3-course meal. Joseph puts Noah back to shame. Sorry, Noah. And who noticed that Joseph was one tasty piece of ass? Potiphar's wife. This cannot go well.
Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of John. So there's a blind dude, right? And everyone knew him as that one blind dude that was like super blind. And one day, Jesus and his disciple squad were walking by, and the squad was all like, yo, J-Dog, who sinned to make this guy blind? Was it him or was it his mom and dad? And Jesus was like, homies, it's neither. This dude is blind so that God's works can be displayed on him. And they're like, oh, okay. And Jesus is like, watch this, y'all. And he spits on the ground, like, he spits on the ground. And the blind guy's like, whoa, y'all, did he just spit on the ground? They're like, yeah, he just spit on the ground. The blind guy's like, okay, just checking. And Jesus starts making mud with his spit. And they're like, huh, interesting. And Jesus is like, okay, take off your blind person glasses. And he's like, okay, and he does it. And then he puts the spit mud on his eyes. And everybody's like, ugh. And he's like, bro. And Jesus is like, okay, now go wash it off. And he's like, okay, you literally just put it on me, but okay. And he washes it off, and he's like, oh my gosh, you guys, get in here. And they're like, yo, what? He's like, I can see. You cereal, dead grass. And then the Pharisees, who were like the super duper religious dudes, saw the whole thing, and they were like, Jesus, did you just work on the Sabbath? That's against the rules. Bible Stories with Liv. The story of Moses, part 5. So Moses is conversing with God in the form of the burning yet not burnt shrubbery, the burning bush. And God is like, Moses, my broses, I'm going to use you to deliver my people from Egypt. So you go on and get in there and tell them that God sent you. And Moses is like, God, they're not going to believe me. And God is like, okay, here's what you're going to do. What's that in your hand right there? My sheep stick. My staff. Okay, now throw it on the ground. And Moses chucks it on the ground, and it immediately turns into an entire snake. Whoa! I'm a slither little snake, slithering in your garden. And God is like, okay, now pick it up by the tail. What? Oh, ugh. And so Moses reaches out, and it turns back into his staff. Yo. So broses, when they don't believe you, do that. Period, king. But what if they still don't believe me? Put your hand in your cloak. Leprosy? Now put it back in. Oh, I'm good now. Yeah, I'm literally God. Part 6. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Mark. So our homeboy Jesus was spitting straight bars, and the room was packed with peeps trying to hear what he's got to say, okay? We're talking more packed than an Amazon shipment. And there are these dudes that have a friend who's paralyzed, right? And they're like, listen, bros and hoes, what if we brought our paralyzed buddy to Jesus? Maybe J-Dog could heal him. They're like, yeah, I am not throwing away my shot. And so they stick the paralyzed homie onto a mat, and they lift the mat to bring to Jesus. But the room was packed, right? So they devise a plan, and they climb up to the roof with their buddy on the mat, and they remove a piece of the roof, and they start lowering homeboy into the room right in front of Jesus. And Jesus is like, dang, sons, your faith in me is so obvious. You went to all this trouble, like jeepers. And he looks down at the paralyzed dude and he's like, homie, your sins are forgiven. Now, there were some scribes that were watching this whole thing, and they were like, holy cow, did he just say that? Oh my God can forgive sins. So that's blasphemy. And Jesus says, listen, y'all, which is easier to say? Your sins be forgiven, or pick up your mat and walk? Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of John. So Jesus' 12 best buds and Jesus' mom are invited to a wedding. Heck yeah. And they go to the wedding and they're just partying, they're drinking, they're booling around. It's a good time. Me pan, jou, 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 jou. But then, there's no more wine. There's no more wine. Everyone knows it's disgraceful to run out of wine for the guests. Everybody knows that. So Jesus' mom goes to Jesus and she's like, son. Yeah, mom, what's up? What? There's no more wine? And you're like, Mom, why are you bringing this to me? You know my time hasn't come yet. Okay. But she goes to the servants nearby and she's like, okay, just do whatever he tells you. And they're like, bet. And Jesus goes to his servants and he's like, okay, guys, you see those 6 big jars over there? Fill them up with water to the brim. And they're like, okay. And they do it, and then they go back to Jesus, and Jesus is like, okay, now draw some out and take it to the master of the feast. And they're like, yeah, okay. And they take the water to the master, but when the master drinks it, it becomes wine. He's like, I don't know. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Acts. So we've got a husband and wife duo named Ananias and Sapphira. Okay, and they were a part of a church where everybody would give everything that they had to the leader, Peter, and then Peter would distribute it fairly to everybody so that everybody would have what they needed. Now, Ananias and Sapphira were stupid and selfish and stupid. Ananias was like, babe, this is dumb. I'll only give part of our cash money from this week, but I'll tell Peter that it's the whole thing. Then we'll keep some for ourselves. She's like, babe, you're so sexy when you're money laundering. So Ananias goes to Peter and he's like, here you go, Peter. All $3 of our fortune. This is the total. But Peter was tight with God and he was like, I'm sorry, but that is a load of crap. And Ananias drops dead on the floor. Like now he's... Now, 3 hours after this goes down, Sapphira comes in and Peter's like, yo, Sap, Ananias told me $3. You're certain that's all of your bag? And she's like, yep, totally. Every last cent, no cap, no lie, no cuts, no butts, no coconuts. Oh, for crying out. And Sapphira drops dead. And now she's also... Moral of the story, don't lie to God, because he really do be knowing. Bible stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of 1 Samuel. So we got the Philistines and the Israelites, right? And they were in war throwing hands with each other. And one day a massive beefcake of a dude comes up from the Philistine camp and he's like, what up, dudes? My name's Goliath. You can call me Bro Live. I'm 9 feet tall and the starting pitcher at UCLA. I'm more yoked than an egg. I'm beefier than a Mickey D's patty. This war is like hella whack. So if someone can beat me with some major domination, we'll let you guys win and we'll be your servants. Hype or nah? And the Israelites are like, okay, that's chill, but like Goliath is an absolute unit. We don't have anyone that could beat him. And then a homie named David comes up and he's like, you guys, I got this. And the Israelites are like, yeah, right. He's a shepherd. But David's like, nah, bros, I've got God on my side. And God is better than having like a million dudes and a weed whacker on my side. So he goes to the little river and he grabs some stones and his slingshot and he goes up to Goliath. And Goliath's like, my dudes, are you yanking my chain right now? All right, prepare for some major humiliation. And everyone's watching like it's the Super Bowl and the Chicago Cubs are in it. And David puts a tiny little stone in his slingshot and he spins it around. He sends it flying up at Goliath and it hits Goliath. Smack in the forehead. And Goliath falls to the ground completely unconscious. Nicely done, God. Bible stories with Liv. The story of Joseph, part 10. So the brothers go home to dad, Jacob, and they're like, Dad, we need to take Ben with us to Egypt because the scary dude in charge, Joseph, imprisoned Simeon. Essentially, Jacob is like, no. And I'm sure Simeon was like, so time goes by and they run out of grain because the famine sucks butts. And dad is like, go get more grain from Egypt, guys. And they're like, Dad, scary dude in charge said if we come back without Ben, we'll all be killed and we'll all starve to death without food. So we need to bring Ben. And Jacob's finally like, fine. And so they go back and Joseph sees Benjamin from afar and he has to go into another room because his eyes are just sweating. And then Joseph is like, okay, I'm going to test them. And so they buy their grain and Joseph puts all their money back into their sacks of grain and he even puts his prized silver cup into Ben's sack. So they travel away, but then Joseph sends a servant and the servant is like, stop, you violated the law. They're like, what? And the servant is like, whoever has the cup will be the servant of the scary dude in charge forever. Can I search your bags? And they're like, okay, sure, we didn't do it. And they check the bags and they find it in Ben's and they're like, oh, sugar, honey, iced tea. Part 11, the last part.
Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Mark, and it's kind of eerie, so I'm interested to see what you guys think of it. So Jesus was straight up bowling with his buddies, and they run into a guy with an unclean spirit, otherwise known as a demon. And when the demon dude saw Jesus from far away, he ran down, and he fell on his face in front of J-Dog, and he starts saying, like, "Son of God, please, please don't torture me. Do whatever you want, but don't torture me." And everybody's like... And Jesus says to the demon, "All right, bro, what's your name?" And the demon's like, "My name's Legion, for we are many." Because I guess a legion is like a lot. And there was this herd of pigs nearby, just chilling. And the Legion, the demon, is like, "Please, please send us into the pigs. Let us go into them and don't torture us." And Jesus is like, "Bet." And so Legion, the demon, goes into the pigs, and immediately the herd of pigs gallops over a cliff and yates into the ocean and dies. And all the people nearby saw the dude that had the demon all normal and chill for like the first time in ever. And he's like, "Hey, I'm the juice." Jesus says to the dude, "Alrighty, now go tell everyone what God did for you. But you did it for me."
Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Joseph, part 6. So Joseph just interpreted the cupbearer's dream and told him that he's actually going to get his job back. But then Joseph's like, "Okay, hold up, bro. When you get promoted back, you have to talk to Pharaoh and tell him that I did nothing wrong and that I don't deserve to be in prison." He's like, "Dude, for sure. I got you." And then the baker's like, "Bro, it's my turn." Joseph's like, cool, hit me with it. And the baker's like, "Okay, so I had these 3 cake baskets all balancing on the top of my head. And the top one was for Pharaoh, but there were birds eating out of it. Birds eating out of it. Ew, gross. So what does it mean, Joseph? Hit me." And Joseph's like, "Okay, so the 3 baskets represent 3 days, right? In 3 days, Pharaoh is gonna put you to death and hang you." I'm sorry, what? I said what I said. Oh, come on. This is a load of bull crap. So 3 days passed, and everything that Joseph said was going to happen, happened. The cupbearer got promoted back to his old job, and the baker got, the stanky boot. But the cupbearer didn't remember to tell Pharaoh about Joseph. Story ain't done, Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Acts. So we've got a homie named Paul, right? And he loved to preach. He was just juiced on that gospel truth, okay? And so our boy Paul Patrol was in a place called Troas, which is in modern-day Turkey. And he was with a group of people up in the 3rd story of a building. And he's all like, "Okay, y'all, my homies, my good dudes. I am leaving you tomorrow, so I'm going to spit you guys one last fire sermon from God. One last time." And they're all like, "Bet." So Paul starts preaching. He's preaching. He's spitting mad bars. He's preaching all the way to midnight. There's this baller Eutychus there, and he's listening. But as Paul goes later and later and later in the night, he starts to fall asleep. Can you blame him? And he happens to be leaning on the window of this 3rd story room, and Eutychus completely dozes off and falls out of the 3rd story window and dies. And everybody's like, and Paul's like, "Okay, don't worry, you guys, I got this." And he goes down the stairs, and everyone's following him like, "Oh, what's Paula Deen gonna do next?" So Paul McCartney leans over the body of Eutychus, and he goes, "Bibbidi bobbidi alicus whack. Pew. Y'all press? He not dead no more." And he comes back to life because Paul had the power of God and anime on his side. Actually, just God. Moral of the story, don't fall asleep in church because you might have to be raised. Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Jonah. So my boy Jonah was a prophet. And one day God was all like, "Yo, Brona." He was like, "What's up, G?" God's like, "You know that evil city Nineveh?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I know them. They suck." And God's like, "Yeah, look, I need you to go to them and tell them to repent." And Jonah's like, "Okay, God, like, I'll totally do that. But on a completely separate note, I'm gonna just head out real fast. I got a thing. So, good talk." And God's like, "Are you kidding me?" And Jonah runs in the exact opposite direction. He gets on a boat to a city called Tarshish. And while Jonah's napping on this boat, God blows a huge storm onto the sea. And the boat crew is like, "Jonah, wake up, ho, start praying. We about to get iced." And Jonah's like, "Oh, crap." And the crew's like, "Wait a second. I've got an idea. Let's cast lots to find out whose fault this storm is." By the way, casting lots is like rolling dice and being like, "If it's a 5, it's Dave's fault." Aww. So they cast lots, and the lot falls on Jonah. Oh, shoot. Okay, look, part 2 of Jonah's story is coming tomorrow. But if you want a sneak peek, you gotta check out the book. It's been out for like 2,000 years. It's really Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Joseph, part 4. So Joseph is a snack and a half, right? And the wife of Joseph's boss, Potiphar, takes notice of this. And she waltzes up to Joseph one day and she's like, "Come on, sleep with me, Joseph." And he's like, "Dude, no." And the next day she's like, "Just sleep with me." And again, he's like, "No, okay." And the next day she's like, "Sleep with me." And every day he's like, "Bro, no, I'm not gonna sleep with my boss's wife. That is so messed up. Come on, Joseph, just sleep with me." And she grabs his sweatshirt. "What? No, let go of me." She's like, "No, let go. No, just have sex with me." And he wiggles out of the sweatshirt and he runs away butt naked. Buck naked? But I don't know. And Potiphar's wife has his sweatshirt in her hand and she quickly devises a cunning plan. She takes his sweatshirt to her husband Potiphar and she's like, "Potiphar, yeah, what's up, baby? You know your servant Joseph, the one who you put in charge of like everything? Oh yeah, I love that dude." She's like, "He just tried to sleep with me." "What?" He came into my room and he took off his sweatshirt and he was about to do some nasty stuff to me when I screamed out, "No, yes." I screamed out and he ran away, but he left his sweatshirt behind. Potiphar was pissed. "How dare my trusted servant try to sleep with my wife? That's my wife." "Joseph, Whoa! And Potiphar throws Joseph into jail. Bible stories with Liv. The story of Moses, part 3. So Moses is chilling at a well in Midian after running away from Egypt for, first-degree murder. And a group of 7 sisters come up to the well. And these sisters were the daughters of the priest of Midian, like the king. Imagine like a Little Mermaid type situation. So these sisters come up to draw some agua from the well, but some shepherds come up and they're like, ra-ta-ta-ta, and they try to kick him out. And Moses sees them and he's like, I gotta do something. And so he gets up and he pummels these dudes and they run away and they're crying. And the ladies are like, oh my gosh, thank you. And Moses and one of the ladies, Zipporah, lock eyes. Oh, dang, this shawty's a snack. I gotta slide into them's DMs. So Moses and the sisters go back to their home, and the priest of Midian, Zippy's dad, gives her over in marriage to Moses. So Moses and Zippy get married, they have a son, and everything seems to be going super well for Moses, right? Surely his dark murderous past and the oppression of his people in Egypt won't get back to him. Now, over in Egypt, the Hebrew people who are enslaved by the Egyptians and Pharaoh start crying out to God, and God hears them and he loves them. So he's like, alrighty, folks, it's showtime. Wait, what? Don't worry about it, M-Dog. Part 4 is up. Bible stories with Liv. We're taking a little break from the story of Moses because So let's hop into it. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. This is Mary. Say hello to Mary. She's going to be important. So Mary was engaged to a dude named Joseph. You might want to remember him too. Now it's important to know this. Mary was a virgin, meaning no sex for her. In this time and custom, it was super not cool to have sex before marriage. So she was a virgin. It's also hecka interesting to know that Mary was probably around 13 or 14 years old at this time, based on Jewish custom for marriage betrothal. Just let that sink in. You wanna come on in? Okay. So Mary and Joseph are engaged for marriage. And God is like, alrighty, time to stir the pot. Yo, Gabriel, my angel, my homie. What's up, big G? All right, little G, this is what I need you to do. You're gonna, your own, dang, are you sure? I'm God, I'm always sure. Fair. Alrighty, go on, let's do this. Part 2 coming soon. Bible stories with Liv, the Christmas story, part 4. So Mary and Joseph need to go back to Joseph's hometown of Bethlehem. Now, mind you, Bethlehem was hella far away, and they didn't have no cars. So Mary probably rode on a donkey. He hauled that ass. Live ass. Get it? While Joe walked beside, and they set off. So they get to Bethlehem and they try to check into this crappy hotel. I don't want to name a real hotel, so let's call it the Holiday Inn. So they go to the Holiday Inn hotel manager and they're like, hey, we need a room stat. She is more prego than the sauce. And he's like, no running in my lobby. Yeah, sorry, we have no rooms available. You cereal? Dead cereal. Homie, she is contracting. Well, how dilated is she? What? She's like, hey, I wouldn't tell you that. Well, we've got this barn in the back, I guess, if you're interested. We'll take it. Part 5 soon. Bible stories with Liv. The story of Joseph, part 8. So Joseph is brought to Pharaoh him freaking self to interpret his dreams about the cows and the ears of grain that were thick with 2 C's. And Joseph is like, all right, here's the dealio. The 7 thick cows and the 7 thick ears of grain, those represent 7 years of super bomb harvest, okay? You're gonna have food coming out the wazoo. Incredible. But the 7 skinny boys, that's gonna be 7 years of famine. Oh, shoot. Yeah, and since you had 2 dreams about it, you can be sure that it's like legit. Like, that was legitness. He's like, dope, already, I trust you, bro. And so Pharaoh orders people around, and for the next 7 years, everyone stores up 1/5 of their food for the famine. Yo, Joseph, wait up. What's up? Listen, homie, you came in absolutely clutch today. Oh, man, don't mention it. It's my big G-man upstairs. Nah, bro, for real. Like, you passed my vibe check hardcore. I want you to be in charge of everything. Bro. And sure enough, everything that Joseph predicted came true. And Joseph went from being in prison to being Pharaoh's right-hand man. Part 9. Bible stories with Liv, the Christmas story, part 5. So Mary and Joseph were rejected by the hotel manager, so they had to go to the barn in the back. And Mary's like so pregnant at this point. She's at least like 6 pregnant, you know? So they settle down in the bar and then... Oh boy, I gotta wash my eyes. Joseph, Joe, come here, look at our baby. This is God's baby. He's so beautiful. Our beautiful baby, Jesus. Jesus? Yeah, didn't that angel Gabe tell us to name him Jesus? No. Jesus. Oh, yeah, sorry, I just had the subtitles on. Jesus. But where are we gonna set him down? Moo? Oh, would you mind? Moo. You are too kind. Moo. Probably thinking the story's done at this point, right? Not quite. Part 6 soon.
Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Luke. So Jesus is straight vibing, and these two sisters, Mary and Martha, run up to him, and they're like, Jesus, my breezes, our brother Lazarus is super sick. How sick? Like at least 4 sick. That's a lot of sick. Yeah, I think it might be COVID-19. And Jesus was super bummed out about this because Lazarus was a homie of his. So he stays in his motel for an extra 2 days because he was so bummed out. Then he checks out of his motel. Now you're running in my lobby. And he starts going with his squad to go heal their boy Laz. The squad's like, bro, you're trying to go to Judea? People there are trying to kill you. Jesus goes, yeah, and Lazarus is asleep and I need to go wake him up. Nah, bro, Lazarus isn't asleep. He's sick, you dummy. No, he died. So they go to Judea and Mary runs up to him like, are you serial, bro? You had been here, I don't know, on time. You could have saved him. And Jesus sees that she's so sad and he's sad because his buddy Laz is now dead and he sits down and he cries. God cried. Think about that for 2 seconds. Tell me you don't want to walk into the ocean. Part 2 coming soon.
Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Joseph, part 7. So Joseph's still chilling in prison, right? Now, real quick, let me introduce to y'all a new character, Pharaoh. This is Pharaoh. So one night, Pharaoh goes to bed, and this time he has a dream, and here's how the dream went. There were 7 cows just vibing on the banks of the Nile River, okay? And they were all thick and juicy and plump, like sexy moto. And then there were 7 more cows next to them that were thin and ugly, like a string bean. And then the ugly, thin string bean cows gobbled up the juicy, thick cows. And then Pharaoh woke up. What the? The next night, Pharaoh goes to sleep and has another dream. There were 7 thick ears of grain, all fat like the moto cows. And then there were 7 skinny ears of grain. So you think I'm skinny? And somehow the skinny ears of grain gobbled up the thick ears of grain. Don't ask me how, I don't know. And then Pharaoh woke up again. And Pharaoh's like, quick, anyone, I need someone to interpret my dreams. And everybody's like, oh, I don't know how. And then the cupbearer from before is like, wait, bro. And Pharaoh's like, what, bro? And he's like, bro, when I was in prison, there was this dude named Joseph and he interpreted my dream. And let me tell you, it was hella accurate. Pharaoh's like, okay, go send for Joseph. And they go get Joseph, bring him all the way to Pharaoh, part 8. Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of Exodus, the story of Moses, part 1. Get hype! So we start in Egypt and Pharaoh starts getting antsy about the Israelites. He's all like, these Hebrew people are getting too dangerous, too powerful. We should cut them down to size, period. So Pharaoh actually orders the murder of all the little Hebrew boys. Dead ass. And here's where we open on Moses. Well, his name actually wasn't Moses yet. This kid was born to a Hebrew woman. She was like, oh crap, my son's gonna get killed by the Egyptians. That sucks. So she makes the decision to stick him in a little basket that she fashioned out of reeds and sends him down the river to save his life. Grim start to the story, right? Right. So little baby Moses floats on down the river until he arrives at the bank of the Egyptian palace and is spotted by Pharaoh's daughter. And she's like, a baby, a Hebrew baby. But she takes pity on him. Aw, and she's like, I'm gonna take care of this baby. I'm gonna call him Moses because I drew him out of the water. Because apparently Moses means draw out of the water or something. I don't know. So Moses, a Hebrew dude, a Hebrew homie, rose up in Egypt in Pharaoh's own household. And I like to imagine that Moses was a bona fide snack. Story's just getting started, y'all. Part 2 coming soon.
Bible Stories with Liv, the Christmas story, part 3. So Mary and Joseph are pregnant with God's baby.
How was I?
Now the emperor, king, dictator of everything was named Caesar Augustus. I am the king of everything forever. Oh, servant, do get in here. Yes, your kingliness. It's been a while since we've taken a census, counting everybody in the land. Say, when was the last time we took a census? Let's see, I think it was back in like 40 BC? BC. What is this BC? I don't know. I just kind of said it. Huh. Anyway, conduct a census and tell all the men that they must go back to their hometowns for the census. Okie dokie, your kingliness. Now, Joseph was from a town called Bethlehem. So Mary and Joseph start on a journey back to Bethlehem. Whoa. Yeah, what's up? Bethlehem? Yeah. Micah? What? The prophet Micah, ring a bell? Just freaking tell me. About 800 years before Jesus was born, the prophet Micah prophesied that a mighty ruler of Israel was going to come from the tiny town of Bethlehem. Are you serious? Dead grass. That's insane. Anyway, part 4. Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Moses, part 4. So Moses is chilling in Midian, right? And he's tending to his flocks of sheepies, and one day he sees a bush on fire, but the bush wasn't burning up. What? So he goes to investigate this mysterious flaming shrubbery, and the voice of God comes out of it and is like, yo, Moses. What the? Hi? Yo, take your shoes off, because the ground here is holy. Okay. And God is like, Moses, I'm God. Holy cow. Yeah. So listen, your people, the Israelites, have been crying out to me to save them, so I'm going to deliver them to a new paradise land, flowing with milk and honey. Those are 2 very random ingredients. What can you make with milk and honey? Tea? Okay, so I'm gonna use you, M-Dog, to deliver them. Oh, really? Yeah, really. But I'm a nobody, but I'll be with you. Fair. Okay, but when I go there and I'm like, God sent me, they'll probably be like, oh yeah, what's his name? And what should I tell them? I am who I am. What? Okay, now listen, the phrase I am in Hebrew was like a way of saying like the one God, the God with a capital G. So him saying that his name was I am was like, whoa, okay, legit. Bible Stories with Liv, the Christmas story, part 6. So here we've got some shepherds, okay? They occupationally watch sheep. Yes. What up, guys? I'm Rod. I'm the main shepherd, and I like to party. Dave, your turn. Hey, guys, I'm Dave, and I, too, like to party. No. I just said that I party. You gotta say something different. Hello. I'm Rico, and I like to party. Rico, what did I just say to Dave? Hey, my name's Shepherd number 4, and I party. Shepherd number 4, I know for a fact you don't party. You're right. Dave's a party guy. Sweet. Shut up, okay? Now, let's party. So they're tending to the sheep at night. Am I right? And then an angel appears out of nowhere. Sup? Dave? Guys, Dave's down. What? Why? I don't know. I think he saw... Rico? Is this a bad time or something? Or part 7 soon? Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story is hilarious and crazy. So David and Saul are mad beefing. Saul's trying to kill David, and David's just trying not to get iced. One day, Saul goes into a cave to take a leak. Take me, I'm just a leak, I don't want to die. Alright, guys, wait just a sec. I'm gonna take a piss real fast. What he doesn't know is that David and his men were already in the inside of the cave. And David's men were like, dude, this is your moment. Kill him now. Because you're an
international super spy.
Super spy! And David's like, no, I don't want to murder him.
Like a damn sociopath!
I'll just rip off some of his cloak so he knows I could have killed him.
I'm getting ripped tonight.
So he sneaks up on Saul, tears off some of his cloak, and slinks back into the shadows.
We can't see where we're going.
Then, as Saul is trekking off, David goes, hey, yo, Saul. What? David? I could have killed you, but I didn't. Look, I took some of your robe.
When you...
Damn, you're a way better person than I am. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah. Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Moses, part 6. So God is speaking to Moses in the burning bush. Just your average Tuesday, right? And God just told Moses, you're gonna deliver my enslaved Israelites, period, queen. And if they don't believe you that you're from God, you can do the staff snake trick thing, right? Right. Or the leprosy cloak hand little bit. Yeah. Cool. Sick, alright? Go get him, tiger. But wait. God. Yeah, what's good? Listen, I know I'm supposed to go talk to Pharaoh and everything and free the people, blah, 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 blah. But I think you might have forgotten I have a speech impediment. I'm kind of slow of the talk. Are you for real right now? Yes. Moses, who gave you your mouth? Who literally decides who talks and who doesn't? It's you. It's me! Moses, I'm empowering you to do this. Obviously, you'll be fine. Please, God, just not me. Anyone but me. And God is like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. You know your brother Aaron? Hi, I'm Aaron. You'll tell him what to say and he'll say it. Sweet. Thank you so much. I got you. All right, now go get him, tiger. Aye, Captain. Part 7. Bible Stories with Liv, the Christmas story, part 7. So an angel appears to the shepherd homies. Dave, Rico, get up. What is happening? Am I tripping, or is that person incredibly shiny? Greetings, my good dudes. I come bearing some major stoke. What's the 411? Well, get this. There's a baby. He was just born. Like how recent? Literally like a half hour ago. Fresh baked. Got it. And this baby, is the Messiah. Oh. Okay, what's a Messiah? Basically, the people of Israel were promised like forever ago, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that there would be a savior that would save them from their sin and make them right with God. And the word they picked for this was Messiah. What? Okay, we gotta see this dude. Where's he at though? Okay, this is gonna sound weird, so stay with me. Okay, he's in a barn. And he's lying in the thing that the cows eat out of. A manger? Yeah, a manger. A manger? Yes, pay attention. And he's wrapped in some cloth. Cloth? Let me speak. Sorry. And that's it. Yeah, he's actually like a couple towns over, so you really can't miss him because this is dope. Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Moses, part 7. So Moses and his wife Zippy and his bro Aaron pack up and they go to Egypt to free the Israelites. And they get to Egypt and Pharaoh's there whining and dining like Emperor Cusco. And Moses goes up and he's like, Pharaoh! Stop the presses! Is that... Moses, my broses, Tyrana Brosis Rex, Abraham Lincoln. Who's that? I don't know. Moses, welcome back, my man. You look great. Did you lose weight? Actually, I did. Thanks for noticing. Wait, Pharaoh, I have a message for you. And I've got a colonoscopy tomorrow. Make it snappy. Pharaoh, let my people go. What was that little thing you did after? I don't know. It felt right. Interesting. Listen, let my people go. I mean, see, I could. But see, the issue is, those are my slaves, okay? They're mine. They do my work. And there's proof of purchase, okay? So don't get on my case. Listen, look, I'd love to. Really, I would. But I don't want to. See my dilemma here? How do I put this gently? No. Party soon. Bible Stories with Liv, the Christmas story, part 8. So the angel just told the shepherds to go find the Messiah baby, and then a whole crowd of angels shows up all partying and praising God like, go angels, bust it down yet, go angels, alrighty, go find him, okie dokie, bye. And then they show up at the stable where Mary and Joseph and Jesus are.
I just want to be appreciated.
Rico, tell her what the angels told us. Why do I need to tell her? You tell her. No. Okay. So these angels came and they told us to come here because this baby is the Messiah. This is God. Well, it's a true daily double, gentlemen, because an angel told us the exact same thing. No way. Yahweh. I see what you... Yeah. So they all worship this tiny, tiny little baby Jesus lying in a feeding trough. Part 9 soon.
Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story comes from the book of 2 Kings. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have literally no idea why it's in the Bible. Because it's weird. Anyway, we got a homie named Elisha, okay? And it's important to know that Elisha was bald. No hair. Howie Mandel looking, Popeye looking, Shamar Moore, Humpty Dumpty, Charlie Brown looking ass. In the best way, though. Sorry, Howie. So Baldy Elisha is traveling. He's walking. And then this crowd of young boys comes up and starts making fun of him. 13-year-olds are the meanest people. And they're all going, hey, Baldy. Hey, you bald head. What are you going to do? Cry about it, little Caillou? Little Caillou, wah. And Elisha turns around and he curses them in the name of the Lord. Or something like that. I don't know. And all of a sudden, 2 she-bears come out of a nearby forest and maul 42 of the boys. Which begs the question to me, there were more than 42 boys there bullying this grown man. You know, I might curse him too. And second, the author makes a distinct point to say that they're she-bears. Like, I have literally 1,000 questions. And that's the whole story. Bible Stories with Liv, the story of Moses, part 8. No, I will not let your people go, Moses. Actually, you know what? Hey, Karen, whatever, I don't care. I've got a little announcement for you to make to the slaves, okay? Courtesy of our boy Moses over here. You know how those stupid little slaves need straw to build bricks for me? Yeah. Listen, don't give them any straw. Okay, they need to find it on their own. All right, so should I reduce the quota for the bricks then? See, yeah, here's the thing. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Just don't. Same quota. See, Moses, that is a cute little thing I like to do when people come in and try to take what's mine, okay? And I'm sure they will love you for it. Get them out of here, boys. Wait. Hey, it was great talking, Moses. It was great catching up. Let's do this again sometime. Pharaoh! Somebody get me another pyramid built over there. Yeah, that sky's looking really empty. Yes, sir. Pharaoh! Bon voyage, Moses. Part 9 soon. Bible Stories with Liv, the Christmas story, part 9. So Mary, Joseph, and the shepherds are in this little barn worshiping this tiny baby Jesus, right? Because he's God incarnate. Now, this is weird. Why is it weird? Think of it this way. If you were a part of an oppressed people group and God promised you that he would send someone to save you, what would you expect? Probably like a dude with 2 tanks for arms and flamethrowers for legs that could fly and fight. Exactly. And is that who God sent? No. Right. He actually sent the exact opposite of that. He sent a helpless baby. But why would he do that? For a ton of reasons, actually. Number 1, he became a human baby so that he knows exactly what it's like to struggle with how crappy life is on earth. He's not a distant God. Number 2, he became human so that he could take the punishment that we deserve because he loves us. Whoa. That is not loving. Couldn't he just cancel the punishment? See, that's the thing. He also is a perfectly just God. He requires perfection because he's perfect, perfectly loving, and perfectly just. Exactly. Number 3, he became a human so that he would be the God of anyone and everyone. He's not just a God for the rich and powerful. He's the God of the poor, sick, and needy. Period, queen. Number 4, he became a human to fulfill a butt ton of prophecies. No doubt. Listen, God coming as a baby is mind-blowing, and that's what I believe Christmas. Bible Stories with Liv. Today's story is going to be the story of the entire Bible in under a minute. Let's get it. So we open on nothing. Nothing exists except for God. And God goes, pew, and creates everything, and it's good. Humans, part of God's creation, are inherently good, but then they F everything up, and the relationship between God and humans is broken. Time goes on, and God gives humans the law. Basically, how to be perfect for dummies. Spoiler alert, it's impossible to be perfect. Humans keep flipping off God, and God is still faithful and good to them. There are a couple humans called prophets that can speak directly to God and tell people what God says. The prophets say that a dude is going to come that's going to fix God and man's broken relationship. A bunch of years later, enter Jesus. Jesus is a human, but he's also God. He lives a perfect life on earth. He literally does nothing wrong, and humans still sentence him to the death penalty and kill him, taking on what we deserve. But 3 days after he dies, he actually comes back to life, and then a hot minute later, he floats up into the air and disappears, but not before sending the Holy Spirit, who is also God and is meant to personally help humans. The world goes all topsy-turvy, and with the help of the Holy Spirit in the first church, the news of Jesus spreads like wildfire. People were getting killed and tortured for saying this stuff, but they kept telling everyone, and we're still telling people today. Finally, God promises to return to earth again, but this time it's going to be absolutely lit, and all evil will finally be punished for being the absolute worst. The end. Whew.